Hello and welcome to our review for the second episode in the seventh season of The 100. We just got done watching The Garden. Well, we got done about 30 minutes ago. We just recorded this, but unfortunately since...
We didn't record it very well.
Yeah.
There was no audio.
Well, we're not used to being here in person. I forgot to check, and it looks like we're recording audio now. I hope we are. I thought that episode was really good. I think that you agreed. I really enjoyed it because it was so focused on Octavia, and I've always found her to be a very interesting character. I think the actress does a really good job of really embodying that person.
Mm-hmm.
I think the character's come a long way since the first season. The first few episodes, she wasn't that interesting to me, at least. And I think who she's become as a character has actually been influenced a lot by who the actress is. She's pretty ruthless and cool, and I think, listens to some intense music every once in a while. She does strike me as that kind of person in interviews. And I know she said that she really relates to the person that Octavia has become. So, she's awesome. I think
her character arc is very nice and symmetrical and round.
Yeah.
As far as we can tell, based off this episode,
She's coming back to the good side, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off.
It's okay.
It's getting late. My brain's starting to,
But compared to some of the other main characters, I feel like her character arc is more interesting. It feels more relatable and fleshed out, whereas some main characters I'm really bored with.
Yeah.
I think you can probably tell which ones. But anyway.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
I can't think of who you're thinking off the top of my
Clark.
head.
I'm
Clark.
so bored of Clark, honestly.
You don't like Clark?
I'm sorry. I'm so tired of watching her. I know she's the main character, but
So this episode was perfect. No Clark.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. No Clark.
I think they had to do it this way because of how much story they wanted to tell with Octavia this season. She's so centered. Yeah. They couldn't really focus the whole first episode on her. They needed to kind of go to the main character, Clark, and start to build those stories up before we revisit those group of characters and see what they've all been up to. But yeah, I kind of thought that we would spend most of this episode going into it on Octavia, and then maybe we'd see, like I said, I think we might see Gabriel and Echo and Hope, because it just made sense. They went into the anomaly. We kind of needed to see more of them, and also, Octavia went through there, so it was cool to see that. At first, I thought when she went through the anomaly that was her after the end of the last season, but it was the first time she went into the anomaly, and she saw, her hand was healed. That was really cool. She's like, oh, that's a good reference. I didn't I completely 100% forgot about it.
She's like, what's going on? And he's like, what?
See, you're good
her
at some
hand
details.
Was nasty and all.
That's the first time
it was out of the dirt,
yeah.
Remember, or something, wasn't? Or didn't they try and bury themselves to protect from the? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly how it happened.
And her hand was sticking out.
See, you are good with details.
Yeah.
Let's see. You really liked the name of this episode, right? You were telling me.
I don't think the name was that particularly inspiring or anything, but yeah, The Garden. Well, it's we've talked a bit about how this show is quite religious, or it has a lot of religious motifs.
Mm-hmm.
And The Garden, need I say more?
You might. I didn't make the connection right away. You've put Garden of Eden.
The Garden of Eden. It's supposed to be the most perfect place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why would anyone not want to live there? There's no such thing as sin. Da 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 da. And that Diosa totally went straight into that.
Yeah.
She was like, I'm not gonna fight, not gonna swear, not even gonna say dang. What? That's barely a swear word.
Yeah.
Some people don't like to say but. Sorry if we just got demonetized. I don't know if you're even monetized.
Oh, what was I gonna say? It's getting late. You were saying before you said but. What were you saying?
I was talking about the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, so I thought the garden had a lot of layers, because there was a line in there where Hope said, "This is his garden. He's been sentenced here as a prisoner. We got to go make our own." And that seemed to be like
I don't
maybe
know
saying more to it than because like does that really track? Does that make any sense? Like if apparently he's only eating jellies and he hasn't been taking care of his garden. Why do they need to go make a new garden when they could use that plot of land and like maybe live there with him?
I don't know, to not take his area.
Yeah, I guess maybe they don't trust him. In our other episode that we just did, we talked a little bit about how they might leave them there for 5 years. They might find a way to fix being stranded in this what do they call it, the Sky Ring or planet Beta, something along those lines. They might be able to like interface with Gabriel's mind drive and get those memories that way. But I think they're going to be there for 5 years because of what we've seen in the trailers. That we've
Echo's
seen
haircut.
Echo with a different haircut.
And like I think maybe color. It looks quite different.
Yeah.
Or maybe she just got those weird gray streaks that Diosa had in her hair. Did you see those?
Yeah.
She had like these gray streaks right here. I'm like, what is this?
They're like, how can we make her look like a little older?
2008 middle school people. Like, that's not the style. Did people do that in your high school? Like, you were like, oh, what was that?
Yeah,
such a weird vibe.
A trend. I'm really losing my train of thought here. Before we started talking about the hair, we were talking about. Do you remember?
Okay, we were at Garden of Eden, and then you started talking about Hope.
Gabriel interfacing.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of it.
Okay, so like earlier we were talking about Dev, and you were trying to figure out where Dev came from.
Yeah. So I think, Dev obviously came back and lived with Hope for a long time after she got abandoned there, and there's going to be a lot of cool stuff.
A fighter.
Yeah.
Unlike Diosa or Octavia. Right?
And they're going to probably spend some time underground together because Colin had worked on that before and can show them about it. She mentioned that she'd played down there previously, so she's been there before. I don't know what their plan was, how Hope cut a deal with this mysterious Anders figure, which I think is the master that guy was referencing, how he serves the master. It'd be interesting if there was a different master. I don't think Anders was the name of the cult leader. I actually should have looked that up. What was the original name of the cult leader? Because that would be great if that was the really original guy.
It's just like one dude who's been like orchestrating. I mean, I guess that would be the ultimate religious motif, wouldn't it?
With the whole time dilation thing, I think it is entirely possible that he kind of sent himself forward in time to his perfect world after he had eliminated all the people that didn't believe in his faith or believe in faith. Who knows what his entire end game was, but he's got a whole civilization out there now, and I think it'd be really cool if he somehow was still around to interact with them. Maybe he's got a mind drive like the Primes. That seems totally reasonable to me, but I don't think it will be exactly like the Primes. I think he'll have found a way to keep his original body, maybe take his followers and sap some of their life force and give it to him. I mean, given all the other sci-fi tropes that they've borrowed, I wouldn't be terribly surprised by it. It does seem like the original Second Dawn leader knew a lot about these anomalies, and so did Becca before they sent out any of those Aegis ships, and that they had some deal with them to try and set up something once they got there. It may not have been originally a plan to set up a new world, a new civilization, but they obviously were aware, and I feel like they were trying to build this world. They kind of knew that that the world was going to burn, or they had some kind of they just didn't want there to be one planet in case something like this happened. They were just building towards making it easier for people to survive or travel. They may have found something on Earth. We may be having an anomaly that takes them back to old bombed Earth, which would be interesting. Maybe it's years in the future.
Or in the past.
I think it would be very, very interesting if one of our characters that we know and love ended up going back before the bombs and either becoming the leader of the Second Dawn or influencing him, and he's the father or they're the mother of this leader. I don't think we've talked about in this one about how Jordan and Hope
are similar.
Yeah, they've
quite similar.
It's pretty much the same.
Grow up with two people to guide them, period, and then sort of alone for a period of time.
Jordan chose that, though. Like, that's the little difference, is Jordan chose to...
Well, plus he was older, because wasn't he...
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he wake up a bit before everyone else? Like, maybe a year or two or something?
I'm hazy on the details, but I think his father woke him up either right before they got there so that he could, like, greet them and tell them the story. It was
definitely before everyone else, yeah.
And Monty may have put himself in sleep after Harper died, I think, to do something. I forget exactly what this. It's been so long. But yeah, I think that it'd be really cool if they kind of had this conversation of like, you don't know what it's like to grow up with all these stories about all these people. None of them live up to them. They're all terrible, except for Murphy. Murphy's cool. We all like Murphy. I love the line where Hope said, "And Murphy?" And she's like, "Yeah, and Murphy." It was perfect.
They love to hate him.
There's so many lines like that are just so well written, though, in this show. I felt like this episode was littered with lines where I'm like, that's a perfect line right there. The one where Dioza is screaming to Octavia about, there is no hope. Octavia, don't be a fool, there is no hope. And that's code. It just is such a perfect way for them to hide hope. It all made sense to me. A lot of shows kind of have those things that this, where you kind of have to just like hand wave it as, okay, this is convenient. That's why it has to be the way it is. Kind of like how the ability to pull people through the anomaly and stuff has to require something jabbed into them, or else it'd just be too powerful. All of a sudden the villain would have everybody he wants whenever he wants. He just wins. There's nothing you can do to beat him. That's kind of like a hand-wavy thing, but I think this show does a really good job of doing as little hand-waving as possible. They definitely respect the science, and the people who typically dive deeply into these types of things, the lore. I thought the black hole interaction with time dilation was fascinating. And the way that planets all orbit around each other means that there is no set ratio between how long you spend here equaling so much time over there. It could all be very different depending on when you go through.
Yeah.
And that is so cool. That's so fascinating for me as a physicist, as somebody who studied it back in the day. We liked Earth Skills.
Earth Skills was silly.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sewing. Oh, it's like home ec. Wow, really like sexist stuff here. Anyway, I mean that sounds bad, but like seriously, come on. But also the flashcard that just said Earth.
Perfect.
Really good job, prop lady, prop manager or whatever they call you.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It was good stuff. I thought it was funny that she was bad at math, and like I don't know if they're gonna like, because like to me, didn't that English, that word was for a 6-year-old? Is that an advanced word? I don't know. Earth, like you said that was maybe a little bit late to learn to read. For me, I think I would have struggled with that. I was definitely a late reader.
I don't think she was learning to read. I think she was memorizing stuff. I would love to know what their definition of Earth was. Right? Where could it possibly have been?
Well, Diosa grew up there, so.
I know, but did they add in the part where it was destroyed by humanity? But also not totally destroyed by humanity?
Yeah,
because it still exists, but it's just like weird now? I mean,
I blame the robot for that. I blame Allie for that, but maybe that was all the second dawn. I guess we're gonna find out pretty soon. I feel like we've covered pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. The I serve the master, I am the shield, I am the sword was pretty cool. I love that line. It definitely got me excited for this cult of disciples. That's a fun name for a group of people.
Is it?
It definitely gets me excited for what's to come. I like that we got a new name for the anomalies. Now they're bridges. It's a better term. It describes what they do. So now hopefully there's less confusion around that. Yeah, that's everything I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us. If you got any comments about your thoughts around our predictions, our analysis. We'd love to hear your thoughts. See you around.